evening everyone and welcome along to this evening's session. I'm Chris and this is Deb. And for those of you that have been coming along to the sessions, how many have been coming along to the V2B sessions? Okay, we've got a few new ones. So for the new ones, the next 5 or 10 minutes, we're going to talk a little bit in terms of the background and a bit about the entrepreneurial process. You might find relatively interesting. For the rest of you, you've probably heard it 3, 4, 5 times. So, as we were saying last week, feel free to jump in at any point because you know what we're going to say next. In terms of thinking about this process, what we talk about is two things coming together, and that is around opportunity and discipline. And that's about starting a business and it's about growing a business. And it doesn't matter whether you're working in the commercial entrepreneurship space or in the social entrepreneurship space. And welcome, Ray, it's great to get you here. And I'm sure aspects of this will be highlighted in terms of Ray's conversation, because you can have great ideas and great opportunities, but if you don't have the business discipline that sits in behind it, then you're not going to be able to grow that business. And again, it doesn't matter whether it's a commercial venture or social venture, it's got to be financially sustainable. So it's not about making a great lot of profit that necessarily goes in your back pocket, but it is about being financially sustainable. So all of the disciplines that we talk about are going to be the same in both types of ventures.
The model that we use at Avery is one by Tim's Spinelli, and we think this is particularly useful just because it highlights some of the areas that you might want to think about, particularly if you are looking at putting in the idea challenge and building a business plan. Essentially, we've looked at the founder and then thinking about what is your opportunity, what are some of the issues that sit around that, really testing whether that opportunity is real in the marketplace, and again, no different between a social or a commercial venture. What's the team of people that you're going to need to be able to achieve that opportunity? And that's team both in the internal sense of the organisation, but also your external team. So who are the advisors, who are the resources that you're going to need to be able to take your idea forward? And then the resources, most commonly the one of particular interest, certainly for early stages financial. Where do you get funding? Where does that funding come from, and how do you actually then implement that funding into making the idea go through into an opportunity? So as you're starting to think about your idea, working through each of these areas of this model can be quite helpful as well, progressing the thinking. So, with regards to thinking about is your idea really an opportunity, because we all have lots and lots of ideas, thinking about, firstly, is it attractive? And that means attractive to the marketplace. Do you really know and understand who your customer is, who your ideal customer is? Often with ideas, people say, the world, everyone, this idea is so brilliant, it's relevant to everybody. That might be true, but more often than not, it's not very accurate, it's not very helpful. So what does it mean to be attractive in the marketplace? Yours compared to somebody else's. Is it durable? Will it last over time? Ideas that come and go in really short time frames tend not to attract any funding or venture, but they also don't go forward and cannot be sustained. Is it timing? Is the market ready for it now? Sometimes we have brilliant ideas, but the market doesn't take it up. So is it timing in terms of both what you're able to do, what you're able to achieve, and what the market's doing for you? Is your idea anchored in actual product or service? One of the really neat things that we do at the Ice House is to work with lots of businesses, and people can have fantastic ideas, but it's not anchored. It's not anchored in a particular product or a particular service, and they have real difficulty explaining what it is they want to do, what it is they want to achieve. And to that end, it's about how do you make money. You know you've got a product or a service when somebody actually hands over money for it. That's the ultimate test. If someone's willing to pay, then you've got something that is real. And does it add value? And again, all of these questions, all of these issues are as relevant to a social venture as they are to a commercial venture. So the same criteria, the same characteristics have to be tested and challenged prior to thinking that your idea is actually something of an opportunity. So, who ultimately is uppermost in your mind? Always. And it needs to be the customer, the consumer, the person who will transact with you. And sometimes in social entrepreneurship ventures, that customer looks quite different. But it still is somebody who the transaction takes place with. I mentioned around resources that it's really important to think money come in from home? How? Where? How do you use that money in your venture? And then how do you attract money in terms of the exchange? And again, it's really important to think about who your customer is. Is your customer in a business? Or is your customer the actual end user? These are critical questions in terms of understanding the business model. And what that leads to is understanding how people will pay you, where you will attract money from. And these are some examples, they're not the only examples, but they give you an indication of the types of ways that you can make money. And again, social entrepreneurship, businesses, same sort of thing. It's looking at where the revenue is generated from.
One of the things in terms of Māori Maps, which was an example we were talking about earlier, in terms of raising initially for the business, in terms of funding it, how we made money, is the Tyndall Foundation put in $50,000, and then that had to be matched dollar for dollar from another source. So we've looked at the first 3 years for our revenue model is about attracting funds from philanthropic organisations, from charities and so on. And then from that point on, when we have a product to sell, we'll then be going out to the market, and the model will be a retail model with a variety of other things sitting along beside that. So the business model will change and adapt. It's what's relevant at a particular time. In terms of the resources, creative and parsimonious. Parsimonious means being stingy. You know, you've got a lot of resources that you can tap into. It doesn't always have to be money. And the word leverage, I think, is particularly important in this. How can you leverage off the resources that you have within your team? How can you leverage off the resources and the people that you know for advice and for access to other resources and networks and so on. So the key is to try and minimise and control versus maximise and own. And in most cases, we need to think cash last and not in terms then of building a team, it's slightly difficult to see this slide, but teamwork is all about sharing victory as well as defeat. So some of the things that you'll be looking for in terms of building and growing the team, you'll be looking for experience, you'll be looking for a commitment, particularly in that social entrepreneurship space. I mean, well, I shouldn't say particularly because it's true in both, but it seems as though the passion and commitment within the social entrepreneurship area is something that, you know, it's a shame you can't often sell that as well, because it's something that's very, very inspiring. There's a lot of risk, there's a lot of ambiguity, and certainly a lot of uncertainty, and that's where that creativity and adaptability and constant communication needs to come into play.
An example, Jane Goodall of Good Books, a wonderful social entrepreneurship future. Her idea of teamwork with both people that she had very specifically to do tasks, but then opening up the opportunity for anybody who wanted to contribute in kind to be part of the venture. And so she has students working in her organisation who were just able to bring all sorts of these characteristics to the play. And so when she thinks about her business model, paying people was very low in the priorities. The teamwork came from a much wider community of resources of people who were genuinely excited and enthusiastic about the venture and wanted to be part of it.
But I guess for any team, the fact is you do have to do the work, and it can't be left up to everybody else. And I think occasionally this is quite a nice way of thinking, and that's not ideal outcomes.
I look like some student plates.
Yeah, that's true. In terms of the anchors of a superior business, coming back, it's always got to add value. Think where along that value chain you're adding value. Solving a significant problem. You know, we've talked about being the aspirin rather than the vitamin. And within the social entrepreneurship area, that becomes abundantly clear. It's a good fit with the founder, with the management team in terms of the risk and reward profile. And, you know, in terms of translating that into a social entrepreneurship venture, how can it be financially sustainable? How can we make it financially sustainable? So to kind of given a context and an overview, and
At 5 minutes.
because really, you know, this is